How many snaps did they run in the 14 personnel?
That's only for us.
100% of the snaps.
What's going on, guys? And welcome in to a 14-piece special edition. We're talking about player panic. Is it time to panic already after week one on some players?
It seemed like you forgot the name right up top. That's good.
I did. I was like, what are we calling this?
No, man, this is good because heading into week two, it's overreaction season. Right. We have one data point, one sample, and people get their hot takes out. But you have to sift through it. Are we actually panicking? Is this a dud? We got 5 guys. Let's get into it, man.
Yeah, well, and before we do jump in, I think there's things that we're going to probably break down as we talk about this a little bit. But there's one guy who we left actually off this list who I think is maybe concerning to some people with how bad their O-line was. Najee Harris did not perform that well. But I want to bring him up really quickly because it's important for us to talk about when you're looking at things to react to or overreact to. Look at some of the peripheral metrics, not just how they finished. Najee Harris was still out there for 83% of the running back touches, maybe even more than that. But I think
he took every touch. He took every single touch. Well,
sorry, 83% of the offensive snaps. And so I think when you look at that, even with a poor performance, you don't have to overreact to that. That's not a panic thing. I wanted to bring him up because he's a good example of what are things you should look at from a bad performance and what are things you shouldn't. But we're kind of going off things like that as we dive in. So let's kick it off here with the first guy on our list, and that is Ezekiel Elliott. Right now, our panic meter goes out of 5. I'm at a 3 right now, so I'm close to being worried a little bit about Zeke. Justin, you're at a 1. Let me hear your thoughts.
I'm not concerned at all. When you look at what we saw in that Thursday night game against Tampa, a great run defense, we already got the report that Dak actually checked out of, it was 12 run plays because he just didn't like the look. Tampa, you don't mess with against the run. It's just not it's not a fun situation. He was in there just eating blocks. Yeah. He was staying in to block a ton. They didn't have Zach Martin. Tampa's extremely aggressive, and Zeke stayed in the block. I'm not worried about it. He still was, again, 82% of snaps. He's the guy there. There's no hesitation about that yet.
Yeah, and I think, I can't disagree with anything you said. I totally agree. The reason why I'm at 3 is because although Zach Martin will be coming back, their offensive line is markedly worse than it has been in past years. And this is a team that has so many weapons in the passing game. They just paid a ton of money to their quarterback, who is a very, very good passing quarterback. People weren't sure if he was going to be ready. He came out week 1 and he showed, I'm ready to throw the ball 50 plus times a game. He's not going to probably do that, but I think this team could be throwing a lot more than we're expecting. And that's the only reason why I'm like, maybe Zeke blocks more this season than we're hoping for. Is he still going to be a very good running back? Yes. But I think top 5 conversation, he's out of that probably consistently for me in the sense of Mike McCarthy historically doesn't produce top 10 rushing offenses. Zeke's a different category of running back he's had, but still with this offensive line taking a little bit of a step back, even with the return of Zach Martin, I think there's things you need to be wary of. Is he still in the RB1 conversation for me? Yes. Is he in that top 5 conversation? I don't think so anymore.
Yeah, even coming into the season, he wasn't top 5 for me to begin with. He was sitting at the back of my top 10. So that's why I'm like, all right, it is what it is. I'm not overly concerned. This is kind of what I was expecting, and week 2 is going to be a lot better.
Right. I think I'm speaking more to, a lot of people thought he's a huge value at the end of the first round. I think he's a value. I don't know if he's going to be the huge value people were hoping for, but let's keep moving here. And we're going to go to the second guy on our list, a guy that shocked a lot of people with a healthy inactive. Trey Sermon comes into week 1, not even allowed to be dressed for this game.
Well, dressed in pads.
More clothes. He wasn't in pads.
Let's calm down here.
Right, exactly. But really, for me, I'm at a 4. You're at a 3. The reason why I'm at a 4, and I'm going to keep this brief, is I was telling people all offseason, the best thing about Trey Sermon in the NFL right now is the team he landed on and the offensive scheme that he landed in. Talent-wise, I compared him to kind of like a Jordan Howard. So for me, when I see a guy who comes in inactive to week 1, sure, he'll be back, probably active as long as Raheem Mostert's out. I don't think he's going to be the screaming value people were hoping for. I believe Elijah Mitchell is less of a trap and more of a really close to a 2 to 3 down guy every offensive drive when I look at this team.
See, Elijah, I'm at a 3 because it's obviously there is some concern. He was a healthy scratch, but he was the RB2 through the entire preseason. The reports are that, and these are just some beat reporters, that Sermon was inactive because they were just going to give Mostert the work, and Elijah Mitchell planned to contribute on special teams. Obviously, Mostert went down, so they had to pivot that game plan. I think if you're looking at 2 guys that between Mitchell and Sermon, the one that profiles better as a running back, just one as a workhorse, it's Trey Sermon. And I am still a big Elijah Mitchell fan, but I do think he is a bit relegated to more of a backup role next week. And I think Trey Sermon really is a guy that could end up returning that RB2 value. He's someone that's going to get dropped in leagues. Just if you're looking at waivers, please go and add Trey Sermon if he hits your waiver wire. It's not gross to add him. He still has every much a chance to win that job as Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, and I think he's going to be a solid 1-2 punch. To me, they love Raheem Mostert. He just can't stay healthy. And I think the running back that profiles more similarly to Raheem Mostert is easily Elijah Mitchell over kind of a plotter in Trey Sermon.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. You have to be concerned. You can't put it low, but don't cut Trey Sermon. Let me just
he's going to be on the field.
Yeah, he's going to be active next week.
All right, let's keep moving here. Our third guy on the list, and then we got 2 more after this. We're talking same team. Brandon Aiyuk was benched early. He didn't see reps, but obviously he's coming off of a hamstring injury. This was a game where the 49ers probably knew they didn't need all of their players to win this game. Obviously, the ending score didn't reflect that, but that's a little bit of the 49ers giving the Lions what they could take. So I'm at a 1. I think Aiyuk in a couple of weeks, people are laughing at this week 1 performance.
Yeah, I'm slightly concerned because I think some of it had to do with the hamstring injury, which is, again, those will linger. So there's a little bit of, what's going on here. But Brandon Aiyuk, I still believe, is the best receiver on this team. Even with Debo balling out, again, he was highlighted on our Studs and Duds video last week as a stud there. So Debo had a great game. Brandon Aiyuk is still going to get his. It's just, this felt like a Trey Sermon doghouse game, a Brandon Aiyuk doghouse game. They just knew they could win, like you said. You can't play him, I think, until you see him fully healthy, but he's going to be fine.
Yeah, completely agree. Let's keep moving here to the second to last guy on our list, Saquon Barkley. Obviously, he did not see the return to the field that many people were hoping for. To me, I was surprised, obviously, with his production, but I'm not surprised with his usage. I mean, we said he's going to get probably 10 to 12 touches the first couple games. Next week, or in week 2, he plays the Washington football team defense, which is not a defense I would really be excited for Saquon to all of a sudden jump in touches. Week 3, maybe, but I'm not worried about Saquon. I think the first 2 weeks, you're going to see him be eased in. I bet you by week 3, he's right around 15 touches, and he's playing the Atlanta Falcons. So I'm ready to be pumped about Saquon. I'm not worried about this at all.
No, I don't care that he had a low workload. Again, everybody under the sun was like, yeah, it's going to be a slow start. You know this.
Right.
Nothing happened that should change your mind. If you took Saquon early and you're mad he didn't have a huge blow-up week, well, you weren't paying attention all offseason. We knew this was coming. He's going to continually be eased in. By week 4, he's going to be seeing 20 touches a game, putting up 25 to 30 fantasy points. The dude's great. Just don't. This is not the time to panic sell.
Right. There's a chance he's in the top 3 to 5 running backs overall, weeks 3 to their bye week in week 10. I genuinely think that looking at their schedule. So don't be worried about Saquon. Let's keep going to the final guy on our list to wrap up here. Javonte Williams. Obviously, Melvin Gordon had himself a game. Javonte didn't get in as much as people were hoping, or even as much as the Broncos were maybe even letting on. My panic meter is at a 3 right now. You're a little bit higher at a 4. And the reason why I've got him at a 3, I'll kick us off here, is he's going to, as similar to Saquon, he's going to see touches come in each week. He's going to get more and more. Melvin Gordon is an aging back, and that's going to be the progression. I'm at a 3 because I think he sees probably a full complement, meaning 12 to 15 touches a game, probably by week 5. And so I'm not worried about that. If he goes to up to like week 10, then I'd be a little more worried, but we'll see how things go the next couple of weeks. But I think Javonte is going to be just fine, especially mid to late season.
Yeah, my panic really, I'm sitting at a 4 here, is for early season, because when you drafted him with where he was going in ADP, people were expecting him to kind of shake off Melvin Gordon very quickly. That's not going to happen. I mean, granted, Melvin Gordon, what is he, 11 for 101, 70 of that came on one run, but still, he's still got a little bit of juice. He was still fighting through tackles. He looked to be still a pretty strong running back just as a player. So Melvin Gordon's not going anywhere. Because of that, I don't really want to play Javonte Williams until I see him step up with that workload. Week 2 is interesting, but I don't think I can buy in, even with him against Jacksonville, to playing him early season. That's the panic, because it's going to be tough sledding. You're going to have to hold him through some down weeks for this to pay off, at the end of the year.
Yeah, I think something else that might work in his favor a little earlier rather than later is that they lost Jerry Jeudy, so they might be running the ball a little bit more. Obviously, they've got Tim Patrick, they've got KJ Hamler. People are thinking that they could be something. They're not Jerry Jeudy, and so I think for me, they could run, 5 more times a game, and I think that's going to help Javonte. So I'm aware, I'm not worried yet.
Yeah, that's right. I may be high on this one, to be honest. Like for the panic meter, it probably should be a 3, but wanted to spice it up.
All right, guys. Well, check back with us all week. We got videos coming out pretty regularly. You're hearing from me, from Justin, some of the 14P team. But good luck in week 2. Good luck on the waivers, and we'll see you next time. Peace.
See ya.